Yeah, it's a bit of both. Yeah, like it's a bit surreal to have experienced that. Like I watched Mayweather for many years, and now he's at the top of the game for most of his career, and then to be in there and trying to come up with a strategy to be one of the best boxers to ever do it with no previous. Conor, and I never cornered the boxing match before in my life, you know what I mean? And to go in against one of the best boxers to ever do it, and to try and come up, the challenge was unbelievable. It was exciting, it was very good, but I still pinch myself. I look back at the experience. We made mistakes, he was so good at just changing up a strategy on the flip of a coin, and we might have made mistakes, not taking a rest in certain rounds and stuff, and this is all stuff that I've learned that I'm hoping to help Jack with. Let him know that you have to be very smart in there. It's a very strategic fight, boxing, and
sweet science.
It's a sweet science, yeah, and it's exciting. But I learned a lot. I look back at it fondly. It was an unbelievable experience, and I'll always look back and enjoy it.
On Conor, do you think we're going to see him again fight this year?
And
will it be a ring or a cage?
I would like to think so. I know there's been a lot of talk now about this Habib fight, and it seems to be brewing towards this one. I only done an interview there a while ago, and people were like, who's he going to fight? And I says, you earn the chance to fight Conor. You have to create the buzz, and you have to be, I hate to say it, but you have to be worthy to fight him. And Habib is just, he's doing very well fighting wise. I see holes in his game. But he's building a big ruckus, and he's calling him out, and people are getting behind it, and it's starting to build. And once it gets to that tipping point, I'm sure we'll see that fight.
There's talk of it potentially happening in Russia as well. Will Conor go to Russia? Is it all about the rubles?
You know what?
There's enough Russian rubles on the table.
You know what? Connor's a mad thing. Connor's very funny. Like Conor turned around to me even before the Mayweather fight. It was just after the Mayweather fight, and he's like, there's talk of me fighting Habib, and he's like, I might do it in Russia. And he says to me, you know what we'll do it like Rocky. We'll go to like Siberia, and we'll train in the snow
like on Christmas Day,
and he'll be like, I'll get one of those yokes that you put on your shoulders to get the lats. And I was crying laughing, and he was serious. He was like, that's it, Conor does mad things. He does, that's what we love him for. Because he would, there's not many people that would do that. It'd be an exciting fight, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. But I would like to see it.
Me too. In regards to Khabib as well, I think he's kind of made for Conor.
Yeah.
The way he rushes in.
Yeah.
I don't know about yourself, but people are building him up to be something a bit special. But I see quite a lot of holes in Khabib's game, and I think Tony Ferguson could have exposed them holes. And I think Kevin Lee looks like a better version of Khabib, in my opinion, because he's got hands as well.
Yeah, he's got hands, exactly. And you know what? At the end of the day, like Habib, he hasn't finished many fights lately. Now he always says that he does that on purpose, but I don't think so. If you're gonna go in and finish somebody, go in and finish them. Like, you know what I mean? He says, I like to punish people for 5 rounds. I always say, if you're gonna give Conor McGregor 5 attempts to land a shot on you, so even if he went in, he didn't land the first round, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, he has 5 attempts to land one shot.
Yeah.
I see Conor go in and land on people within the first 30 seconds of the first round, and you see that against every person he's fought, MMA fighters, boxers, everybody. He goes in. He's so elusive. He's so good at maintaining the range. He's so good at giving people shots that they think they can land, and then setting up everything off that. And I just see him landing, and it's whether not many people can take it. I don't know whether Khabib can take it either.
Yeah. Will Conor's career last much longer, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the gym. He still enjoys training. He loves it. He's down every day doing, whether it's pads or boxing or jiu-jitsu or wrestling. He still loves the competitive side of things, and that's still burning in him. I think it depends. It just depends on who's out there.
Yeah, it's about the right dance partner.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about who brings the biggest attention and who brings the biggest draw. You know what I mean? It may be hard to top the Mayweather fight, but there's people building in the UFC that could potentially get the fight off him.
Would you rule out another go in the boxing ring for him as well?
No, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there was talk. There was talk of different fights and stuff like that. But then again, who do you fight? You know, if you've already fought Mayweather, unless you do it again. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know whether that. You never know.
What do you think of the talk of Mayweather getting into the octagon?
You know what? I just can't see it, to be honest. But you know what? I was proven wrong because I said I couldn't see the Conor and Mayweather fight. But you know, money talks, and if Mayweather was to start moving into that direction, a lot of money would be made. He would make a lot of money. UFC would make a lot of money, and it's stuff like that that excites people and excites the promoters and stuff like that. So,
but it wouldn't be Conor would have to carry him, wouldn't he?
Carry
him for 30 seconds before he decided to end it.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be. And he was saying he'd like to get 3 or 4 fights before he gets up there. That's just not going to work.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be too difficult for him to learn. You know, maybe if he had 15 years of wrestling or something like that, like you know, the likes of Lomachenko has many years of wrestling and Sambo and stuff like that. Somebody like him could easily make a transition.
Yeah.
But Mayweather only has hands. It would be difficult.
So that's Owen Roddy there, who is Conor McGregor's striking coach. And Dan, he echoes what you said before, that there are holes in Khabib's game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people after Khabib's last fight realised that he does look quite one-dimensional if he starts to slow down. You know, if you can stop a couple of takedowns. I mean, after Kevin Lee's performance this weekend, which I'm sure we'll get onto, you've got to think that there are a lot of people in the division now looking at Khabib thinking, I mean, I could probably take that 26-0 record away from you because you've kind of shown your hand against Al Iaquinta. And going back to what I was saying about Jason Knight, Al Iaquinta is one of those kind of guys you can put him in there with anybody in the division, and based on toughness alone, he's going to push people and test them. And that's what we got. We got Al Iaquinta's toughness really, really pushing and testing Khabib. And I feel like there are some vulnerabilities in his game that were even more highlighted there. And you've got to think that someone like Conor McGregor, who's got a real eye for timing, a real good understanding of range and setting traps, and a real sharpshooter kind of striking style, he's going to be looking at those windows of opportunity to pick him off. Even if it's a case of him defending takedowns for 2 rounds or defend himself on the ground for 2 rounds. You push towards the end of the third, and Khabib starts to push forward with square shoulders, making him a very easy target for a fast southpaw like Conor. I can certainly see the vulnerabilities. I mean, you know, putting it into practice is another thing. And none of us, we're talking about it, we're speculating. None of us have been stood across the octagon from Khabib, and none of us have felt what it's like to, you know, for him to get his hands on you. I mean, that might be so discouraging that, you know, he might just keep rolling through people, even though he does look sloppy doing it sometimes. But
here's the question, Dan. You're saying none of us have stood across from him. If they said to you, right, Dan Hardy, week's time, you versus Khabib, whatever weight you are.
You're only giving Dan a week.
I'm giving Dan a week, yeah. Because whatever weight you are at this point. Because I watch you on Instagram. You know, you put your fights on there. You still got the moves. You still look slick. Do you think you could take Khabib in a week?
In a week, no. Because I'd be gassed after about 5 minutes of grappling, and I'd definitely be forced to grapple for the first 5 minutes. You know, with a fighter like Khabib, you know what they're going to do, but in that first round, as Edson Barbosa found out, when they've decided they're going to get their hands on you, no matter what you throw at them, unless it's perfect, they're going to walk through it. They're going to eat it. Because their chin's tucked, their hands are up. You know, they've got plenty of oxygen in their blood, so they're not going to be exhausted and easy to switch off. Khabib will just push through a lot of stuff. You've got to be really heavy-handed to stop him in the first round. I think Conor can do it, but Conor's got great timing. And I think that takes many weeks and weeks of sparring to get that timing down. So at a week, no, absolutely not. Give me 3 months to prepare. I'd take that fight.
Let me just message Dana. Dan needs 3 months. Cool. Let's move on to the Ultimate Hall of Fame. Now, I thought we were going to select this week, but no, Nick, you saw one that came in on Twitter. I missed this one. It comes in from Conor Fowler. You like this, don't you?
I do. It's a good one, yeah. Conor fired it over, saying that one of his favourite moments was when Randy Couture fought Tito Ortiz, beat him up for the entire fight, and then at one point had him kind of pinned as a crab over himself and started smacking his bottom.
Just to point out, the Ultimate Hall of Fame could be anything. We're trying to build the Ultimate Hall of Fame. It can be a fight, it can be a move, it could be a moment, it could be a haircut, it could be anything at all. We've had some great ones over the past few months.